give a shout out to my biggest sponsor, Warrior Energy Drink. The reason why we partnered together is because we have the same mindset, we have the same drive. We're for the people, we're about the people. Look, Warrior Energy Drink has 0 sugar options, and they got water as well. Low calories, great taste, very affordable, no crash, big energy fast, high in B vitamins, awesome design, culture design, 160 milligrams of caffeine. Other energy drinks have way too much, and they're always giving it back to their community. They're paying it forward. Partner with them, guys. Click the link below. Go get yourself your own Warrior Energy Drink and go crush today. Oof. Look, I know there's a lot of people are going to be like, nope, you're crazy. I love my barbecue. Actually going to be doing some barbecue today. But guys, she's saying moderation is where it needs to be. That's crazy, the study of the rat cocaine and sugar. Think about that. Cocaine has killed how many lives? But I'm pretty sure what she's saying is sugar has killed a lot more lives. In this sense, it may not physically put you 6 feet under, but when it's something is so addictive that it controls your mindset, or your palates begin to salivate because of what you remember the taste is like, that's a problem. And you're learning it from a doctor, albeit I'm going to say a world-renowned doctor, because you don't get invited to go speak somewhere if you don't know what you're talking about. This is so good. This is so good. I want to move. I could literally spend all day. We could spend all day on this topic, on these topics, right? But there's a couple things I really want you to get to understand. You grew up fast. You had to grow up really fast. 30 years in this field is a very long time. What you've been doing, you've been dedicated. You're dedicating helping women, which I absolutely love. You're helping women become what we call the zone of genius, as Gay Hendricks talks about in The Big Leap. So I'm curious, have you always had this confident? Were you always this confident? The woman that we see, which obviously we're going to know the answer, it's a rhetorical question, or was there something that changed in your life to where you had to come out of something and help propel you to be the person that we're seeing today?
The answer is no. A big no. And I think that if you ask a lot of people out there who've been through life, they would give you that answer, because life taught me many things. I was born pretty much a very shy, insecure little girl. I was born in a country where kids don't say much. Women is like second to men, right? And I, just like any little kids, you look around your environment and you kind of pick up the cues. How am I supposed to act? If I'm quiet and proper, I get rewarded. And I was like the teacher's pet growing up as a little girl in Thailand. When my mom take me to gatherings and stuff, I would be like the most favorite kid, because I just sit there and I don't say a word. And that's the social cue that many women, many young girls picked up, and they don't realize that will shape who they have become. And I got confidence in my ability, right?
Mm-hmm.
At a very young age, when I start doing well in school, and I was in sports, I draw, I did many work that give me that confidence. But it's about my ability. But as far as self-confidence about who I am, oh my gosh, I had to go through divorce to figure out, heck, what am I doing with this person? And that was a wake-up call. And it's not that my ex was a bad person. He never hit me. He never cursed at me. But I was in a relationship where I didn't like who I've becoming because
Mhm.
in the defense of him, he was a man. Growing up, he also came from the Southeast Asian background, and growing up, he wasn't taught how to treat women in a in the right way either. He just absorbed whatever he had around him, and he never tell me, "Oh, you look beautiful," and I started thinking over the years, like, oh my gosh, I must be ugly. And my confidence level in that area really dwindle, and I starting to lose or didn't discover who I really am until that divorce really was a tsunami. It was a tsunami in a big way. I was plunged into rediscover um, myself, my spirituality, my identity, my vision, my mission in life, and it began there in a big way. It took me many years because I have two young kids. Um, it 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 took a lot of courage, and that's what I developed through this. How can I bring myself? It is a failure, right? Society look at divorce as a failure. Now I don't. I think it's the greatest thing that you can do for yourself if you're in a relationship that you are not happy with.
Mhm.
and and at that time, the American dream, coming here to America, the dream was to have this American life, to go to college, get married, have this monopoly home that everybody has. There's a
Yep.
movie that they created a long time ago. I forgot the name, but people would wake up in the morning, neighbors wave at each other, and they all wheel out their garbage can, and go back inside the house, shower, and go to work. That's the American dream, right? And I was
Mhm.
in that rat race. Um, and and I just wake up one day and said, this is enough. Once I make a decision, it was done. And over the years, that was in 2008 when I decided, you know, this part of my life need to change, in order for me to live the life of authenticity, of being who I am, expressing my true essence. Um, it wasn't that deep, but it was the beginning of the biggest change in my life. And I went through so many personal self-development, and I saw many books behind you. I read, oh my God, hundreds of books. I attend hundreds of seminars, maybe not hundreds, but gazillion.
Mhm.
And just out there, just trying to figure out who I am, why am I here, what is the purpose of my life. And it's no, to answer you, I wasn't always confident. And this is what we see in the movie stars, right? In the people you think at the high ranking officer, the president, they all have that insecurity. And to slay that dragon within us, Cameron, it takes work. It takes years of deep work, to have that true peace inside of you, to say that here I am. I am the light. I am this being, and I am not afraid to show anybody who I really am. And that is confidence, to be able to be who you are all the time. When you go to sleep, you are authentic to yourself. When you speak, the voices between your two ears are the voices that really express the true you. And it doesn't happen overnight, Cameron. It takes years of practice. I'm still practicing doing that. I still doing self-affirmation. I still doing my meditation. I still learn from everybody. And that's the thing. When you realize you have this self-confidence, is knowing that there are always things out there that you can learn. Have an open mind. There are people who are always smarter than you, better than you, prettier than you, richer than you, and happier than you. And your goal is to just be yourself and have an open mind to say, hey, they have this thing that I want. What are they doing? What can I learn from them? Have the humble, um, that humbleness that say, I'm no better than anybody. And at the same time, nobody is better than me. We are all equal on every single plane. We are separated by the illusion of time. The time of course, I am 53 years old, so I will know more than a 12-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and and that's just it. But the 12-year-old kid, I bet that 12-year-old know how to have fun more than the 53-year-old who is not aware of the inner child. You can learn to have fun, to be joyful like a little kid from the little kid. And that
Oh,
camp is confidence.
guys, look, first off, Dr. Sas, we all that are listening, we all love you. We love that you never gave up. You could have. Going through divorce, going through any massive trauma in life is very, very hard. Everybody goes, you don't need to go through divorce to know that it's very traumatic. You can go through your own trauma in your life. But the fact that Dr. Sas never gave up, which I look, there were plenty of times I'm sure she woke up and like, I'm not doing this. I can't, especially when you've got kids involved. It's very difficult and very tricky. But we love you. We love that the energy and the wisdom that you're imparting on us, that we get to consume this years down the road when people listen to this, they can hopefully, I know, not hopefully, but I know it will jumpstart them into a journey to finding who they truly are in this life. What is their purpose, right? Figuring out who am I authentically, like you had said, who's my authentic self? And because you wanted to find your authentic self, we now get to embrace the energy that you just gave us. You need to go. The reason I didn't jump in, because there was multiple times I could have, is because the energy that you were pushing out, you pushed out it was a slow, gradual build of energy until the very end of if you think it, you can do it. You have to believe in yourself. You need to go back and watch that part of the video again. This interview, watch that whole segment. You will see the pain in her eyes. You will see her transform, get back, and you could see her start to shut down as she talked about her divorce, as she talked about that 12-year-old girl who was culturally supposed to just stop, don't say nothing, just sit there. Just sit there. That's what your job is. That's what you're supposed to do. You watch her shut down. You could literally see her energy slow and stop and shut down. But then you can see it flip. You see the flip and you can see her then start to the light build up, the energy builds up. You can see the tsunami of this change come and impart it all on us. And she is saying, you cannot give up. It's hard. Years, she told you, to change the way that she thought of herself and the way that she looked at herself. It has taken her years. She still does it. Self-affirmation, meditation, reads, goes to conferences, works on herself. A world-renowned speaker of a field that she is doing. She's still actively at the young age of 53. She is still working on becoming the best version of herself. I I almost wanted to lean back in my chair and just listen to the master class that you had just given us. I'm in the second, I'm on the top story of my house. I want to rip my shirt off. I want to jump out my window and scream as loud as I can. That was freaking amazing. I almost cussed, but I won't because we try to keep it clean. Dr. Sas, that was beautiful. Women out there, when you listen to this, both in the US and the four other countries that we're in, soon to be in Taiwan, because people in Taiwan will listen to this and say, if she can do it, I can do it. People need a beacon of hope and light. You don't need to be a world-renowned speaker. You don't need to be have your own podcast. If you are just the light to somebody, that can change. Your story can change somebody's life. You are living a full life. Oh my gosh. That was masterful. Masterful. I want to ask this question because it was a topic you were in. You guys heard her story. When about 12-year-old, she moved over from Taiwan to the United States. I think it's absolutely amazing to see when parents make that change. When they say enough is enough, we need to move our families. Can you take us in, or you might not know fully, what was that decision that your parents made of we're moving from homeland to this? What was that decision? Resume recording. Let me ask this question. What was that decision? What was that decision your parents made to shift from something that they've grown up, they've known their entire world was living in Taiwan, to move from there, or Thailand, to the United States? What was the purpose behind that?
Better education, better opportunity. Living in a third world country, like Thailand, is really hard for us to get good education. I mean, for me and my sibling, we were fortunate enough that my aunt, there's a many stories to tell. My aunt, my parents were very poor. My great grandparents, many generations, and my aunt got sponsored by this couple from the U.S. To go to medical school, and she get to come to the U.S. to practice her medicine here. And when she was ready, she sent for us, and it was not a question at all. It's like, shall we come, shall we not? It was just like, heck, we will leave that poverty and come to the land of opportunity, right? So my parents like gave up, like you say. It was my stepdad and my mom, my brother, and my two other sisters. There were six of us, and we just pack a suitcase full of just clothes. That's it. And came here and start over. And talking about the tsunami of change, Cameron, it was tough changing the culture. I might have mentioned this to you before, when we speak of land. I didn't talk for a whole year. And, I was quiet to begin with. And when I started school, it was such a culture shock, um, not knowing what to do, how to act, and not even knowing the language. So instead of just, trying to speak, I completely, literally shut down. And I didn't talk for a whole year with people at school or anybody outside of my family. And this is a completely different being you're seeing here. A big transformation. And, if a quiet little girl can go on stage and speak in front of thousands of people and move people to change their lives, then, like you say, Cameron, you can do anything. You just need to realize you are here for purpose. Find that purpose in life. Find that values that you live by. And everything that you do, every decision that you make will always be correct if you are staying in line with who you are.
Mm. To that point, you were on a podcast, the Start Transformation show, and you
Mhm.
spoke on your transformation that not started when you were, in America, who we see today, not when you went through that divorce, not when you moved, but at the ripe old age of 5 years old. Please tell us, take us into that space. At 5 years old, you started to develop something. You started to develop this inner strength. Because I think verbally, yes, we probably that was true. You didn't speak, but internally, there was always something ticking. Please tell us or help us in that space of what you were doing at the age of 5 and how that has carried you on to what we see today.
I believe inside of us, every single one of us have this. And I just become aware of it at a really young age. And I thought I was normal. I thought everybody have this. My great uncle is a was a spiritual healer. He's, you know, has passed on. But at a young age, it could be younger than that. But I remember back, um, probably at 5 years old, I was sitting in my great uncle's living room, and there were adults around us, and I just sit there cross-legged meditating for hours, literally hours, and I would do that every Thursday that we gather. And that is a spiritual place that me and my sisters always go to. It was the three of us. My brother was in basketball and band and all the stuff, and we developed at a young age how to connect to our spiritual side. We were running around playing with spirit hide and seek, and we cannot see them with our own eyes, but we can feel them with our spiritual eyes. And at that young age, I've always been all my life really connected um, to the spiritual side. And like you said, it had carried me on, because even coming to America at 12 and being yanked out of that really loving, peaceful environment into this, the Western society where spirituality was looking, we look at back then spirituality as something crazy, woo-woo, but that's the essence of every single thing in the universe as we know it. And yeah, and up until I got married, from age 12, got married until I got divorced. I I've been yanked away from all that. After the divorce, I was like, you know what? My ex-husband didn't want to go to this church, but I've like really, I felt inside my heart that I needed to go back there. I was searching for healing, and I studied the Bible front to back. I read stories about Joseph, about Job, about everything that there is to learn about spirituality. I go to church every Sunday, every Wednesday, take my kids with me. And for me, I grew up in both Christian and Buddhism. So I didn't believe everything the church was teaching me, because I believe there's more than one way for us to go back to God. It's more than just Christianity. It's more than just what the church taught us. So I went away from church after probably 6, 7 years of going consistently, and I started studying different spiritual leaders and teachers and mentors that I have over the years, and it had helped me gone through many things, the bankruptcy, because after the divorce, it was rough, and having 2 kids and going in and out of court, and I was starting the business at the same time, and spirituality, having many dark night of the soul, where you like literally down on your knees and said, "Oh God, what else are you gonna throw at me? You know, how can I get through this day, this night, this hour?" And God always give me the answer. And after a few minutes, you have that inner strength. Your spiritual um, guy kicked in and said, "Hey, you're gonna be okay. Everything gonna be fine." You know, you were meant to experience this life so that you can come out and help other people.
Wow. Guys, if you ever wanted to know, just go back and listen to this entire podcast. There have been such an emotional shift through this whole thing. If you think about some of the pageantry in this interview, we've had some very highs and some very lows, some very dark points, and some very enlightening points of this whole conversation. But this energetic shift through this entire interview, you will understand why women specifically are being drawn to Dr. Sas and her work. It's because it's this mind shift, this mind, body, soul movement that people are always talking about. But when you actually get to break it down to the core of how somebody is such a front runner of this movement, and we're blessed to have her on, you treasure everything that she has said. She's literally saying the way that she got out of being poverty in an impoverished world, Thailand. Poverty, like if us in the United States, although I know poverty because of the reservation, right? Where I lived and became who I am. So I understand, but it's a mindset style poverty, and also physical, to a poverty going through divorce, broken me down. Who am I? I don't even know. I've lost who I essentially am as a person, as a human being, to that journey of finding who you are today. And now we are so blessed to just have been taught by somebody who speaks to thousands and thousands of people that come and listen to her. A shy girl not wanting to speak for an entire year now can command a presence on top of a stage. I don't even know what else. We could go on more, but we can't. Oh, Dr. Sas. Holy crap. We all love you. We love who the person you are, the love you're giving today. Thank you so much for being on this. It's just unbelievable. I love it because she's the one thing that you won't hear is she didn't play the victim. And I absolutely love that. No victim mentality, no victim mindset. Although there could have been multiple times you could have played the victim. Oh, so as we wrap up, help us understand why the victim mentality didn't overcome you because of all the things that it could have. Why did you not allow the victim mentality to take precedent in your life?
I, I think we've been there. We all been there, and we come out of it. In the beginning, for example, with the divorce, I was blaming, right? Was it my fault? Was it my ex's fault? And you go through that different steps, but then at the end, you look at these two little kids, and you're like, heck, that depends on me. I can't be a victim. It's not a choice, you know, just get up, do it, go to work, make, cook whatever meals your kids need. And literally, I took the Nike slogan and I just do it. I didn't have time to think. I didn't have time to slow down. I was burning candles at both ends, running the business. And, for me, and I don't think I speak about this on this podcast yet. At 9 years old, I was picked to do the school dance, performing on the stage in front of all my classmates and all the kids in school and their parents and all the stuff. And my mom was dressing me up, and being a child girl, I was just like in a nervous wreck, right? My mom was like the best she could. She said, Sas. She called me Mango in Thai, which is Mamong. That's my nickname. She go, Mamong, you can be anything. You can do anything. Remember that. And I took that to the stage, and I did my little dance at a 9 year old. And I remember that. I remember that, and I carry with it through my life, through um, the breakup, the everything. I remember my mom was my hero. She is still my hero today. She embodied everything love's supposed to be. She raised us. Sometimes I don't see her because she would work day and night. She was a hairdresser. She ran a grocery store. She was a taxi driver, and she sold life insurance, and then also sold clothes on the side, and all that to raise us. And she remarried to my stepdad, who helped her with the store, but still, she was a hard worker, and she's still in me. You absorb everything that you see, whether or not you are aware of it. I saw my mom work hard. I saw that she didn't give up. So it was in my DNA not to give up, no matter what life throw at you. Um, you don't give up, because you are here to do something. You're here for a purpose, whatever that may be. And if you don't complete your mission, guess what? You're coming back again.
Oh
If
man.
you believe in reincarnation, the elders of the afterlife will say, hey, you didn't complete your mission. What happened? Learn from it, and you're gonna go back wiser. But yeah, I just took the Nike slogan and said, hey, just do it. Nothing to lose again.
Wow. Wow. That's unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Dr. Sats, if tell us how can we get it? How can people who listen to this that want to reach out to you, want you to come speak, want you to know more about you? How can we get into your world? Tell us, how do we How do we reach out? How do we get in contact with you? Because I'm sure soon millions women will want to reach out.
Thank you, thank you. Things change on a daily and weekly basis, and I try to update people who want to get in touch with me as much as I can. But the best place would be my website, www.drsas.us, drsas.us. And that's where you can get most of my work. And if you have question, there's a contact me part that you can email me and the team, and
And we
I'll
guys,
answer you.
we'll have that. We're gonna have all her social media links. We'll have that all in here. You guys can reach out, follow her. Her website is amazing. It's got great content that's on there. I've been on there. I've poked around a lot in her life. If you look her up, you'll listen to all the podcasts that she was on. She is a renowned expert in this field, this life-changing field, mind, body, soul, but becoming the best version of yourself, and the energy that not only that you need to have, but your energy can spill over to other people to help lift them up and become the best version of themselves. That's really the mission. And watch out, Paris. Watch out, Paris. You're getting a heavy hitter. I love this. As we wrap up, let me ask this question. If you were to see your 5-year-old self today, what do you think she would say to you?
My 5-year-old self, what she would say to me,
What she would say to you?
or what I would say to her.
Ah, see, people love that. Now, what do you think your 5-year-old self would say to you?
My 5-year-old self would say, Sas, don't worry. Have fun, be your little 5-year-old, enjoy life, go through the journey, take things lightly. Everything happened for a purpose. You may not know what it means right now, but the meaning of life is to be joyful in everything that you do, to be joyful and make that impact, to be joyful and live that life. And just like the song said, don't worry, be happy.
Oh, what a way to end. What a way to end. Before I let you go, though, 5 books. Your top 5 books you would recommend anybody to read. It could be, business related, mindset related, spiritual, whatever it may be. But just what are your 5 books you would recommend?
Cameron, I lost count how many books I read. And this again goes with individuality, is
Mm-hmm.
where you're at in your journey. And I would speak for 95% of the people, because many people out there, maybe even your listener, are not aware of this whole person, whole life. And they may heard of it, but they're not aware of it. And I would give you the 5 books that I think is the basic. That's where 95% of the people should start. And I have it written down here. The nutrition. Okay. This is called Integrative Nutrition by Joshua Rosenthal.
Mm.
And that's the quote that I took. He said, we are the spiritual being having human experience. And in the book, it talk about all different diet that you can explore and just listen to your body. There's no one fit diet for everything. It is a lifestyle. The second book is about discipline. And I might make my kids read this. It's called No Excuses by Brian Tracy.
Brian Tracy.
Yeah, he if you know him, he's an amazing individual. And his book, even though it's an older book, is stand the test of time, because everybody, nobody have an excuse. If a man sitting in his apartment with nothing, can make millions and can create the life that he wants, then there's no excuses for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But that the second book. The third book is about spirituality, and I chose Dan Millman, the peaceful warrior, and his book is just amazing in a way that he wrote it in a storytelling kind of way. It's very engaging, and you want to know what happened next. And after you end, you're like, was that real? Did he really experience that? But he wrote many books. That's where I would start. For inspirational, I chose this book that just released by Dr. Paveena Posang. She talked about overcoming adversity, life at a young age, being 3 years old, laying on the ground of the train, listening to the train as the train moved her from Bangkok to Chiang Mai. And when her parents got the divorce, her life was shattered, and how she rebuilt herself, um, become the physician. And they chose her to be the doctor for Obama, the president, when she was serving in the United States Air Force. But she turned that down because she wanted to be around for her husband. But this is an amazing story, and I'm proud to say that she is my sister.
Ah, that's awesome.
Amazing story. Many people told me they read this book in one sitting. But if you're looking for inspiration, that's it. Talking about going from poverty to success. That's the story. The Wake Up Call is the book called The Irresponsible Society by Pascal Bachmann. He wrote 2 other books in German before this one, and this one is releasing shortly. It is the wake-up call about our society as it is today, how we are living in the matrix, and we need to wake up and take charge of our life and be responsible for our future, for our children's future. And those are the 5 books that I recommend. Many more, but start with those 5.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, if you have not yet, I will be the first person to buy your book that comes out in 2023. If you've
Yes,
not written a book.
it is in the process. I have 6 books in the works right now, and my goal is to publish at least 4 of them next year. So in the beginning of the year, they'll come out.
Oh, well, you look, I will go back and put all the links in when the book comes out. We will promote it on here, because the knowledge that we have learned and from today is second to none. Second to none. When your own sister turns down the physician for the president of the United States, you know that your stock is very, very good in the sense of where you come from. The will to live, the will to never give up is unbelievable, and it's just palpable. Dr. Sas, we love you. Thank you so much for coming on the show, guys. Like this, share this, download it, re-listen to it. I would say tweet it out. I definitely need to get a Twitter account, post it on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of the sources, because this book, her books that will come out, this podcast is going to change the lives of thousands and millions of people. I'm going to say this again, Paris, you better watch out. This will be a little prequel for what you guys are going to get when she jumps on stage. Guys, this has been another fantastic episode of the Arch Study of You. We will catch you on the next episode. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.